friends, kayaking adventures with family, more horseback riding, zipline gliding, rock face climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and across the prairie, here beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey, it's Jake Sorensen. Tune in this Thursday as Early Break with myself, Steve Sipple, and Bill Bush broadcast from the Nebraska Army National Guard UNL East Campus Readiness Center to honor Veterans Day. You won't want to miss this one. That's this Thursday for Early Break from 6 to 8 a.m. at the UNL East Campus Readiness Center, just north of 33rd and Holdridge.
So, I just got the State Farm Personal Price Plan on my car insurance.
So you told your agent you play the bagpipes for your dog?
What? No, I didn't get that personal. My agent just helped me create an affordable price just for me. Okay, let me show you what I've been working on. Hey, Buster!
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krekak, at 402-474-1173.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
The best way to learn about Southeast Community College is to visit. SCC's Discovery Days will give you the opportunity to experience SCC firsthand this fall. Discovery Days provide information about SCC's programs of study, how to pay for college, SCC support services, housing, activities, and more. A campus tour and lunch are provided. See your options at southeast.edu/visit SCC. SCC, your path to possible.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
A beautiful, beautiful Monday to be with you on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Why? College Hoops is back. That's right. We're here. We made it. I'm hyped. I'm with one of the best to ever do it in the Scarlet and Cream. Eric Strickland, your Big 8 Freshman of the Year. Just a winner. Just a winning dude. Stricky, Hoops is back. I'm feeling good. Are you?
Yeah, man. I'm excited, especially I get to start and do Big 10 Plus tonight. So I'll be over in the stadium and able to see the Huskers. Kind of start things off. It's going to be a long stretch of home games for the Huskers. They're going to get a nice run at home. I think it's been a while since they've been able to do that outside of some neutral locations. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be fun to see what Hoiberg is put together as far as this group of guys.
You want to talk hoops now or you want to save it for later? I'll leave it up to you.
We can talk now.
All right. Husker hoops now. First thing, just in a general kind of note, the Big Ten is having availability reports this year. We know that for football, they started that, but they're doing it for basketball too. I think that's good just in general, but I think for Husker fans, that's going to come in handy throughout this first month or two of the season, because I don't know if anyone knows who's actually available for the Huskers tonight outside of a handful of guys. So we'll find out right at the end of the show, probably when we're crossing over with old school, just who's available for this Husker team. And that to me, Strick, is really the storyline of November. Who's available and what are the lineups that gel together early?
Actually, I think I might have gotten it. That's what I'm looking for. The SID over there, Seamus, has sent me something, and I just need to. I'm pretty sure he sent it over. Yeah, there we go. I do have it, and I'm trying to see if there is a link to it. This is from the Big Ten office. Institutions responsible for submitting. Well, yeah, it hasn't come through in full. Mm-hmm. So he did send something acknowledging it, but it hasn't come through in full, not with a link. So, but anyway, we'll like you said, we'll probably end up getting it at some point.
3 hours before game time is when it's due.
It'll be released. Yeah.
Not a lot of big man depth available for Nebraska. I wouldn't assume shouldn't need it against a team like Lindenwood. But Stricky, I know you were a rebounder for a guard. As a guard, I know, obviously in the NBA too, playing 1 through 4, guarding 1 through 4, you had to have that mentality of at least boxing out, even if you don't get the rebound. Yeah. What would your message be to Nebraska's guards as they, have to learn to go to the glass?
Well, it's a mentality. It's a want to. It's for the betterment of the game. It's a heart check thing. You have to be willing to always be asserting yourself and not watching. If you become a spectator in the basketball realm, it doesn't matter where you are, whether it's in the perimeter, because there's certain spots, depending on where shot is taken, that there's certain things that you must do, whether it's from the perimeter or whether you're weak side. It's sometimes getting down, helping on that big man on that weak side rebound, depending on what size you have down there. Sometimes it's getting down into the middle of the paint. It's doing a check to make sure this guy is not going anywhere. If he does, then you run him out. So there's a lot of things that you kind of got to get your mind on. And it's not just a shot, look, and be ready to get to the offense. It's got to be about security. We talk about that in the football realm all the time, ball security and different things like that. So there's just different things and techniques that must be learned and be consistent in if you want to be good at securing the ball. Now, I think that's something that they did when they went over to Spain. They didn't have big men available, so it was one of the things that they were able to do in order to make sure that they were able to have success while they were over there.
Nebraska's an older team, so you would hope that most of those lessons about boxing out and that effort, that want to, are already ingrained to some degree. Strick, the heartbeat of this team for me is still Keisei Tominaga. Probably gonna play a lot of 2 this year, the shooting guard position, with some handle, right, to put it on display for NBA guys. Keisei Tominaga really came alive, after the injuries last year. He had his role before Bandmel and Gary went down, but eventually it became Keisei Tominaga's offense in a lot of ways. Derek Walker was there, Sam Griesel was there, but they knew Keisei Tominaga was the volcano who would go off, erupt at any time. I think he's the guy at the top of the scouting report right now, not just because he's a returner, but because I think he's the most dangerous guy the teams have to watch out for and have a game plan for. I'm fascinated to see how Keisei handles being at the top of the scouting report, especially in these first couple months.
Well, what's even better for them right now is the fact that, he may be low labored. So early on, there's other individuals that are going to have to step up. Who is that going to be? Who's going to assert themselves into a position of I'm the next guy that you can count on, not necessarily the next guy that's just going to get shots. You don't want to just be the guy that's just, but who can you actually count on? Like, for example, playing in the NBA, being a guy, especially one who is a non-drafted guy on a team of stars, a lot of high draft picks. Your Michael Finleys, your Derek Harpers, guys who are veterans as well as other guys. But then you get to a point where the coach trusts you. And then they start running sets for you. When they start running sets for you, they can trust that not only you're going to get them a good shot, either for yourself or for someone else, but that you're going to make sure that your abilities to do that on a consistent basis is assured. It's going to be based on matchups. So things that they're going to be looking at, I think, is trying to find out and identifying who those next individuals that you can count on, not just get shots, but that can count on getting a good shot for.
Who do you think those guys are? With Derek Walker gone, that's a big piece of the offense missing. Sam Griesel and his old man, YMCA style post game at point guard gone. Keisei Tominaga had quite a bit run for him, didn't necessarily do a lot of creating. Who are those guys that you think Fred Hoiberg is going to give those opportunities to early on in the season?
Well, here's something that you can count on. You started to see an emergence of Jamarcus Lawrence a little bit. They're probably going to give a little bit more responsibilities to him as far as handling the ball. Obviously, Keisei Tominaga, you would hope that could be CJ Wilcher as he becomes more of a veteran now leader in this group. I don't care what you say, they're still very young. This team is still very young. Outside of Keisei, Josiah Alec, and as well as Jerron Coleman, they're very young. Now, here's one that I want to keep an eye on. I think your guy, your your hustle, your fast break. This is why I think that no point guard push mentality, just whoever gets this joint, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Because you want to get Jawan Gary in open court situations. I think that's where he'll have some strength to be able to do that. A lot of that in the open court. You may get some sets, some pick and pop situations with Rink Mask. I think Eli Rice is one of those type of guys that you will be able to get him in certain situations to where he can have some success. But I would also say, even though he's a freshman, watch out for his rim run opportunities is Matar's job. I think his physicality, his speed, and his size, he's a physical specimen. You don't even realize he's 6'10", but he's a physical specimen. But he's got way better footwork than say Blaze. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's got great timing, great footwork. He works off of both hands, and he's got touch. So keep your eyes on him and see what he can do with the ball, because they're going to need some inside presence as well, and hopefully he can be that.
They are. I think Nebraska is going to be perimeter oriented, especially on offense. With Rink Mask can take it down low, but like you mentioned, the pick and pop is going to be a big part of his game. His passing ability, different than Derek Walker, but I think he can still be a good passer. And there's a lot of guards on this roster. But Nebraska needs to find that presence defensively on the interior. But I guess one other thing on offense, you mentioned the rim runs. Nebraska hasn't had a lot of that. No. Derek Walker wasn't a big rim runner guy. Eduardo Andre never really got that figured out. Jordy Shimanga, not necessarily. And above the rim presence for actual, alley-oops and lobs from a big man is not something that Nebraska's pressured opponents with recently. But the defense, Strick, this is where I don't know if Nebraska is the most athletic team, but I think this is a team that can communicate well with each other and really extend pressure a little bit. I think they're deep enough with their guards. Nebraska's best defensive strategy may be, while they wait for Blaze K to get healthy and Jop to come along, hey, let's pressure guys, 75 feet. Make them work some time off the shot clock, take some pressure off our backline guys by having active hands and feet at the guard and wing positions. Well stated.
I would absolutely have to agree with you. And I think you saw that an identity that emerged on last year. They just want to be a continuation of that. You don't want to have any slacking off of that. And that's why it's so important. Something that they did okay last year at times, sometimes even better, is securing possessions.
Yes.
You get the great stop. You worked your tail off for 20, 25 seconds, and you don't secure the possession. So that's the one thing that I think is going to have to be, top of the line as far as their mentality, because then that'll enable them to be able to take advantage of their abilities to do different things with certain guys, I think, on this roster. But it's expanded. They have more guys, I think, that can actually get buckets in this team than I think they had last year.
I'm with you on that. It all tips off tonight. Huskers in Lindenwood at 7 o'clock. We will have post-game after the game, some combination of myself, Bach, and Nick will be on that. Get your BTN Plus downloaded. Listen to Stricky on the call, repping the ticket on the Big Ten Plus. Again, Huskers in Lindenwood at 7. Big thanks to Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Didn't mention it at the top of the show, but really appreciate Charles and everyone down at 29th and Pine Lake serving up the food for your soul. They're not open today. They're not open tomorrow, Wednesday, though, and there's another Husker home game on Thursday. So get it before you head down to Pinnacle Bank Arena. Let us know your thoughts. Where do you think this Husker team finishes? 402-464-5685. We'll take those thoughts. We'll turn the page a little bit to some Husker football here. We'll take a look around college football. A few interesting games and decisions being made across the college football landscape. We'll get to that in hour 2. And a recruiting overview with Brian Munson of Husker Online. We'll dive into all that and more as we continue here on The Block.
The best way to learn about Southeast Community College is to visit. SCC's Discovery Days will give you the opportunity to experience SCC firsthand this fall. Discovery Days provide information about SCC's programs of study, how to pay for college, SCC support services, housing, activities, and more. A campus tour and lunch are provided. See your options at southeast.edu/visit-SCC. SCC, your path to possible.
Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
So I just got the State Farm personal price plan on my car insurance.
So you told your agent you play the bagpipes for your dog?
What? No, I didn't get that personal. My agent just helped me create an affordable price just for me. Okay, let me show you what I've been working on. Hey, Buster!
Call your local State Farm agent Vinny Krekak at 402-474-1173.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices. Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill. Open for lunch and dinner at 10th and P or at 1501 Center Park Road.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all. O Street Carpet. 1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
The holidays are right around the corner. This is a great year to give your family and loved ones the gift of shoes to encourage them to stay active. Fleet Feet Lincoln fits you properly for shoes, and they offer a free group that meets 3 days a week, plus other training programs and a walking group on Mondays. Get healthy, stay healthy with proper shoe wear from Fleet Feet Lincoln and a group of friends that will support you and keep you accountable. Start your health adventure at Fleet Feet Lincoln at 77th and Pioneers.
Are you tired of living in pain? It's time to take control. At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, we're your one-stop shop for expert care in Lincoln. From broken bones to complex reconstruction, our skilled team will help you get back on track. Visit prairieortho.com today and discover why we're the trusted choice for thousands of patients. Don't let pain hold you back. Take the first step towards a better pain-free life with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins. Call 402-489-4700.
When it comes to tackling your fall projects, having the right equipment can make a huge difference. At Sunbelt Rentals, they have an extensive line of tools and equipment to help complete any job. From lawn and landscape equipment to hand tools, pressure washers, portable generators for you tailgaters, and much more. Sunbelt Rentals makes it easy to get what you need when you need it. Drop in to see the experts at 5450 Alvo Road in Lincoln, or visit sunbeltrentals.com today to learn how Sunbelt Rentals can make it happen for you.
This is where it happens. Long hikes with friends, kayaking adventures with family, more horseback riding, zip line gliding, rock face climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and across the prairie, here beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Austin Norman, Eric Strickland back with you here during On the Block. Once again, brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Big shout out to everyone at Mary Ellen's for their great work. Again, check them out starting on Wednesday, open through the weekend. Stricky, not a great weekend for Husker football. They lose 20-17 on the road at Michigan State. You and I both predicted it. The Happy Hour crew both predicted that Nebraska would be bowl eligible. Plenty of people on the text line when we asked thought Nebraska would be bowl eligible against Michigan State. They don't. They fall to 5-4. Not a great showing from Nebraska, but it wasn't necessarily appreciably worse than anything they put out on tape the last few weeks. But Strick, we said this on Thursday and again on Friday before the game. The turnovers were most likely going to come back to bite Nebraska at some point. And even the things that Nebraska was doing relatively well, it wasn't necessarily high level. So the game to me felt very similar to Nebraska's last 3 wins. They just managed to find themselves on the wrong side of it this time.
Yeah, that's a fact. But one of the things I will also say is this. They basically did something that I felt that we should have did or even had in place. So there's why there's a little disappointment on, Satterfield's side for me, because you knew you had to dial up something. You just thinking you're going to come in against the team that is actually pretty solid. Like we talked about that, that the defense isn't as bad. Outside of 2 games, they're really not as bad as what people would think. Yes. So I felt that you needed to throw in some wrinkles. You needed to do some misdirection stuff. It was so bland and basic, and it was very disappointing on that side of the ball for me. Now, shout out again to Coach White, who kind of kept you in it, kept you involved. But there was also other spots outside of the turnovers. So the turnovers are definitely a detriment to you. 2 interceptions, some fumbles. But then your special teams let you down. So we talked about you have to be in phase on the road, no turnovers. Special teams have to be in place. Their special teams just did it better. They maintain field position. And when you're a team that can't move the ball, can't play, you have to win that battle. They did. They put the ball inside our 20 and even below that on 3 occasions, which flipped the field and then caused them to get an opportunity to score more time than we did. Now, here's the other part of it. One of the things that they also did is because of that field position part of it, it's making Nebraska run plays. Like, no big plays, make them, the more plays you make them run, the more opportunities for mistakes to happen. And they were behind the chains all freaking day. So you've got that problem, bad field position, turnovers, you're behind the chains every freaking dang near play. You have missed opportunities on busted plays, wide open guys that you're literally missing. You're floating balls, and really the floating is mechanical. Yeah. Because he sidearms the ball. He throws it sidearm, which then causes release point to be higher as opposed to on the top coming down and keeping balls low. So, there's some mechanical things that need to happen there. The offense just in this game did not help at all. You can't win any games with receiving numbers at 129 and rushing numbers at 158. Your other your Emmett Johnson only touches the ball 13 times with a 4.5 average, and there's nothing that you do to make that right. He should be getting more touches, or Grant something. They should be, because you weren't able to move the ball. You're not able to throw the ball. This is why I said the trick plays were necessary.
Michigan State hit on theirs.
Hit on
Alante Brown had more passing yards in this game than he did receiving yards all season long. Yeah. Yes, former Nebraska player Alante Brown. Michigan State pulled out all the stops, but also Michigan State did a good job in its scouting. They noticed Isaac Gifford biting down on play action. They go over the top, over his head. They connect on that pass play on that first drive, and they get points. Ended up being a difference in the game. Michigan State took away the option, like Purdue did. Heinrich Harburg wasn't successful on the ground again. So what's Nebraska's counterpunch? They didn't have one. Right, to your point, they didn't adjust. They didn't throw in any passes to running backs in space. They tried running.
And the one time they did, it ends up getting a first down.
Funny Johnson. How that works. Funny.
It's crazy.
Who'd have guessed?
Yeah.
The big conversation around this game, though, centers on the quarterback position. Heinrich Harburg didn't look good. 12 of 28 through the air against a team that allowed a 62% completion percentage coming in. Nebraska didn't hit on one of those big pass plays to break the game open or give themselves a chance, right? It was very methodical, to your point, where if they're not hitting on that big explosive play, they have to sustain a drive, which the turnovers or even the drops, Strick. Coleman had a couple drops. Alex Bullock had a drop on third down. All that would have, been big momentum-changing plays, or at least kept a drive going for Nebraska they didn't capitalize on. But we have a texter here from Kansas, 4131. So we have, going back to November 4th, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 texts.
That said they were going to score over what?
That said bench Harburg.
Oh.
This is whoever you are in Kansas, you are very much not sold.
Let's add to that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people were saying 35, the complete blowout, and so forth and so on. I was a little bit more skeptical on that. I was more around the 24-10. And if they would have did the things, I'm just going to be honest. If you would have did the things that I was saying, you win certain areas, I think your score is that. I don't think Michigan State could have scored on you in the same light. They just had better opportunities in position. And then the trick plays that they ran gave them more opportunities to score. So if you just reverse that, I think the score is going to be what I thought it was going to be.
I said this on postgame, and I want your thoughts. There's a lot more Nebraska could have done to help Heinrich Harburg out, right? He got so much credit for being 5-1 coming into this week. Like, oh yeah, he's the guy. Look how well he's playing. Nebraska's playing so well with him at the helm. You and I pushed back on that. Said they're winning. Harburg's not necessarily the spark or the key. He wasn't good, right? The 2 interceptions, neither one of them are defensible. 2 fumbles, you get one of them back. The second one was debatable whether or not it was a fumble, and we'll get to that momentarily. Heinrich Harburg didn't deserve nearly as much credit as I think some Husker fans were giving him for the wins, but there were drops. The defense was fine, not elite. The special teams let him down. As mediocre as Harburg was, he doesn't deserve sole blame for this loss.
No, I don't put that on him. I think it's a collective group. They all failed. Listen, it really, I don't know if success for Nebraska is part of their curse or downfall or whatever. I don't know if it's bad mojo, but Austin, you were literally, like we talked about the night before, you're sitting in the driver's seat, and it's not one of those carless driver ones where there's nobody in. You've seen those now. It's not one of those. You literally were in control of your freaking destiny, heading towards a potential Big Ten championship game. And you're tied with Minnesota because of your loss to them.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, Minnesota comes up short. Wisconsin comes up short.
Against Indiana.
Right? Iowa doesn't look great, but you're going to see them. So you win this. You get that game advantage. You got somebody coming in home that just got waxed a little bit. They're kind of reeling. You got a chance to go to work on them. Then you're going to face the team to hold them underneath your boot. And then you freaking got the team that you still could continue to push down, or it was all or nothing between you two, and you freaking lay an egg. I don't understand it. I don't know. I don't even know what to say, especially when you're in control of it. And collectively, to do something great, you could have went 4-row. You had so many things and opportunities that were right in front of you, and to lay an egg like that is so disappointing.
It is, but I think this is where we have to remember what the expectations for us were versus the team. Because for Husker fans, it's exactly what you're saying. But even Matt Rule was saying, hey, even though we're winning, we're not as good on tape as the results. So it feels like laying an egg from out here, but the team didn't play all that much differently. I don't think. The end product, the result was basically the same as we've seen for the last month out of this team. They are who we thought they were, but now the conversation changes because they walked that tightrope for so long. Michigan State finally came and pushed them off. I don't want to say the team came out flat because it all looked so similar to previous weeks from what we've seen. There's a lot to break down for this Husker team and Matt Rule, but we have a text on the text line here. 5769 says, Nebraska went in thinking Michigan State was going to fold. We're not good enough to go in like that. You can't ever think a team is going to fold. You have to make them want to fold. You have to give them no other choice. A team that's lost, what would have been 6 games in a row, haven't won a game in conference play, a super early senior day because they're playing Penn State and Detroit. You have to make them want to quit on their senior day. For some of those guys, that was an emotional boost that they needed. With an interim coach and all of that, you have to force them to quit. They don't just roll over for you because they looked at you as a get-right game. Mm-hmm. They don't care that you won 3 in a row coming in. Mm-hmm. You're still Nebraska. You haven't made a bowl game in how long? Mm-hmm. Michigan State doesn't care. They're not going to roll over. You have to push them over.
That's a fact. And there's nothing else I can say on that. That's an absolute fact. You got to make them want to lie down.
Is Purdy not even an option anymore? Notorious B.I.B. asks. It doesn't seem like it.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think Chubba Purdy changes that game.
No. I don't know. I don't know if any of them did, to be honest.
The one aspect we haven't talked about is the officiating decisions, the calls and the non-calls. We'll wrap up hour 1 with that. It's a big storyline after the game, but Strick, I really like how Matt Rule handled it in his press conference today. We'll tell you what the head coach said. We'll break down what some of those calls were as we wrap up hour 1 of On the Block after this.
Welcome to Sue's Frame Shop.
Yes, can you frame these, please?
These are Nebraska Lottery Holiday Classic Scratch tickets.
I know. Isn't the classic Christmas artwork on them just charming? Now, be sure not to smudge it when you frame them.
But if you scratch them and enter non-winning tickets online, you could win up to $20,000.
Give me those. Here's a quarter. Let's start scratching.
Promotion ends January 3rd, 2024. Top prize odds vary by game.
You play Lucky for life, don't you?
Yeah, love it. Chance to win $1,000 a day for the rest of my life.
How does it work?
Choose 6 numbers and buy a ticket.
Then what?
Check your numbers after the nightly drawing to see if you've won.
Whoa, slow down. You lost me there.
Choose 6 numbers.
6 numbers, got it.
Check the drawing.
Whoa, how do you remember all that?
Just lucky, I guess.
Lucky for life, top prize odds, 1 in 30 million.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solutions. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest, quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustace Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered, whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at EustaceBodyShop.com, and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Sunday morning. It's quiet, not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know Don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. The perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
You're counting on your team to win, so why not prove it? At Warhorse Sportsbook, their win is your win. Put your money where your mouth is on nearly every sporting event. Use the Warhorse app to check odds and build your bets before placing your wagers in person at Warhorse Casino in Lincoln or Horseman's Park in Omaha, including live in-game betting. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
This is where it happens. Long hikes with friends, kayaking adventures with family, more horseback riding, zipline gliding, rock face climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and across the prairie, here beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Blecker and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Blecker and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
Vershawn Jackson for Brant Excavating. Brant's been in business for 29 years, and they specialize in a variety of things. If you're looking for someone to get the job done in precision demolition, excavating, trucking, mass grading, and site prep, Brant is the place to call. To set up a quote or learn more, call Brant Excavating at 402-474-4113 or go to brantexcavating.com. They're also hiring, so join the team today. Brant Excavating, a part of the Bauer brand, who reminds you, go big Brant!
Hi, my name is Molly Party. I'm a realtor with MP Dodge Real Estate. I'm a newly licensed agent and considered numerous brokerages before deciding on MP Dodge. I chose the company that gives me the most support in my new career, plus guidance and encouragement along the way. MP Dodge has a unique mentoring program for new agents. It's helped jumpstart my career and has a supportive management team and administrative staff. So if you're contemplating a career in real estate, look no further than MP Dodge. It will be the best decision you make.
Are you tired of living in pain? It's time to take control. At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, we're your one-stop shop for expert care in Lincoln. From broken bones to complex reconstruction, our skilled team will help you get back on track. Visit prairieortho.com today and discover why we're the trusted choice for thousands of patients. Don't let pain hold you back. Take the first step towards a better, pain-free life with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins. Call 402-489-4700.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, probably sunny skies. We'll start the day off. Then we'll see mostly cloudy skies this afternoon. We'll see a high of around 70. Tonight, partly cloudy skies are expected with a low of around 45. And mostly sunny skies will return to the forecast for tomorrow with a high of around 72. Meteorologist Kyle Clucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're wrapping up hour one of On the Block. I'm Austin Norman, joined by Husker Hall of Famer, 9-year NBA vet Eric Strickland, who once again on the call for Huskers men's hoops and Lindenwood tonight at 7 o'clock on the Big Ten Network. Plus, when you're done listening to Stricky on that call, make sure you are tuned in to 93.7 The Ticket. Some combination, again, of Bach, Nick, and myself will take you through post-game reaction to coverage of this first Husker game. All right, Strick, we're talking Husker football in Michigan State a little bit and the officiating. I think the three calls that most people are saying were egregiously wrong and incorrect were the lack of pass interference when Malachi Coleman got run through downfield. That was bad.
That was very bad. Very obvious. Didn't turn around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right through him.
Right through him.
The face mask on Heinrich Harburg. Now, was it Eric Crouch against Kansas State? Not quite. I missed that one in real time. I thought he just touched the face mask. I didn't see the grab in real time, but there's a clear grab and twist on replay. So that's another 15 yards for Nebraska. Oh, I should also note the one on the pass interference to Coleman, interception on the next play. Make of that what you will. The third, probably the biggest of those three calls, would have been the touchdown catch by Montori Foster. That ball clearly hits the ground. It's moving. Doesn't appear to be any control by him in the end zone. And Matt Rule said between that call and the non-touchdown for Gabe Ervin, where Nebraska has to settle on the goal line, they throw the interception, don't get points going into halftime. 2 games, Nebraska's lost by 3 points. If you take 7 points off the board for Michigan State or add 7 for Nebraska, the result's different. I think he has a gripe there. But to me, Strick, the 2 most unfortunate calls or non-calls both came on Nebraska's final drive. First of all, Nebraska's first play, a pass to Malachi Coleman, trying to get down to field goal range. It's complete, but Coleman's working his way back across the first down marker. It was about 12 yards deep. He had to work back through the ball. You can tell on replay where he contacts the ball, has control, catches it. He's past the first down marker, but he's falling back across the first down line. Well, they spot the ball a yard short, so instead of being 1st and 10, the clock would stop since it was under 2 minutes. Clock keeps rolling. Nebraska has to hurry up, run another play. 15, 20 seconds go off the clock that Nebraska desperately needed with no timeouts in that circumstance. That's one that in a crucial moment was a big mistake by the officiating crew that I think changed how that last drive went. And maybe the play that changed it to an even more serious degree was the fumble, supposed fumble on Heinrich Harburg. He steps up in the pocket. He's trying to throw the ball. It gets knocked out of his hand, but you can see his elbow is coming forward. The Michigan State player contacts the ball as Heinrich's elbow is coming forward. That's just classic Tuck Rule stuff, where if the arm's moving forward, you're in the act of throwing it, should be a forward pass, ruled incomplete. So clock would stop. You would have the ball back at that line of scrimmage. It moved Nebraska from its own 46-yard line, where you're 15 yards away from a miracle, 20 yards away from Tristan Alvano's field goal range that he's proven on a day with no wind on the road to at least tie the game. Instead, you're in scramble mode, just trying to throw anything together, and you're not likely to have success in those moments.
Well,
so,
especially you're not that type of team.
That part.
Yeah.
So the first 3, I think, were unfortunate, but Nebraska had an opportunity to make those 3 previous calls null and void, yet the 2 on that last drive are what I think finally sunk Nebraska.
Yeah, those are always questionable. But then, so what I would do, this is a 2-parter for me.
Mm-hmm.
1, this is what you call never leave it in the hands of the judge, right?
Yep.
You're on the road.
Mm-hmm.
It would be no different in a basketball game. You go out and you that's why you go out and beat the brakes out of them. Sometimes you go out and try to win by double digits because you might get referee, bias, home bias on some stuff that may cause you to maybe only win by 6. This is why you play that way. Football is very similar. Do not leave it in the hands of the judge. So those plays are also one of the ones where I would say you've already been dealing with a lot of adversity. You've already been dealing with a lot of issues that you've had to learn a lot about yourself as a team. If that's the case, this is another part of that. There's still adversity.
Yep.
Now on this team. There's still heart checks that need to be taken into account. There's still bounce back. How are you going to bounce back coming back home after a tough loss with opportunity that doesn't wait for anybody, sitting right there in front of your face? You've missed it. Now handle what you can handle, and then let the universe decide on whatever way it's going to be or how it's going to end up for you. But still, you haven't banked bowl eligibility yet.
You're supposed to do that on Saturday.
That's a missed opportunity to put it in the bank.
Yep.
But now, is the pressure going to mount, or are you going to learn from that and come back and do something different on this next week? So we'll see. Now, the question is going to be out there for you guys, 402-464-5685. Is Satterfield the guy? Or is he just working with a deck that's stacked against him right now? Love to hear from you.
Let us know, 402-464-5685. We'll get to that
Again, is the deck stacked against Satterfield, or is Satterfield the guy? I'd love to know.
Let us know your thoughts. We'll get to it in hour 2. Luke, Notorious B.I.B., Tommy, Professor Rick, a man named Ashley. Appreciate y'all texting in on the Starter Heyman text line, 402-464-5685. Stricky brought up response. Nebraska has 3 more opportunities in the regular season to take advantage of. Before we take a look around the national landscape of college football, I want to get to that, the response. We've seen Nebraska knocked down with dirt on its clothes a little bit. Huskers have had mixed results in shaking that dust off week to week. What do we think Nebraska looks like on Saturday against Maryland? Do we think this team has it in it to get up off the mat one more time? Do we think that this was too much of a gut punch for the Huskers? What does the response have to look and sound like? We'll get to that and plenty more here during On the Block, brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Austin Norman, Eric Strickland, back in Jeff.
The holidays are right around the corner. This is a great year to give your family and loved ones the gift of shoes to encourage them to stay active. Fleet Feet Lincoln fits you properly for shoes, and they offer a free group that meets 3 days a week, plus other training programs and a walking group on Mondays. Get healthy, stay healthy with proper shoe wear from Fleet Feet Lincoln and a group of friends that will support you and keep you accountable. Start your health adventure at Fleet Feet Lincoln at 77th and Pioneers.
If you're not going to Memorial Stadium for a home game and don't have any travel plans for away games, there's a great place in Omaha to catch the action, the Inner Rail Food Hall. There's plenty of space. The Backstretch Bar has amazing game specials on game days. $15 Blue Moon and Bud Light pitchers, $6 margaritas, and $6 Moscow Mules. And if you're hungry, take in some of their great options from their game day pizza specials. Do football game day right in the Inner Rail Food Hall in Exarban Village in Omaha. Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is your go-to place in Lincoln for repairs and maintenance for diesel pickups to Class 8 over-the-road trucks and trailers, from bumper pole utility to full-size semi. Gray performs DOT inspections and are a service provider for fleet companies like ARI, Element Fleet, and FleetNet. They're a family-owned business in operation since 1952, and they keep a clean, friendly shop. Customer service is their top priority. Give Gray Diesel and Equipment Services a visit today with easy access just off I-80 and North 56th Street.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and man, of the October incentives get better. You won't want to miss this happening right now at Koppel. You have 0% financing or $6,500 off MSRP on select new half-ton crew cab pickups. Yes, you heard right, happening right now until the end of the month. 0% financing or $6,500 off sticker price. Those incentives are the best we've seen this entire year. Hurry on in while supplies last. Just take that short money-saving drive down 144th Street or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. All offers include trade-in bonus and with approved credit.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solutions. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today: probably sunny skies will start the day off. Then we'll see mostly cloudy skies this afternoon. We'll see a high of around 70. Tonight, partly cloudy skies are expected with a low of around 45. And mostly sunny skies will return to the forecast for tomorrow with a high of around 72. Meteorologist Kyle Clucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Leaves are falling and the temperatures are cooling down. But don't put your golf clubs away. Double Eagle Golf makes golf leagues and events possible year-round. Leagues are underway with winter leagues beginning on November 27th. Check out their deals on monthly memberships and schedule your Husker watch parties, birthday or bachelor parties, corporate and team outings, or just a good old Saturday with the boys. That's all at Double Eagle Golf, inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street. Book a tee time today or learn more at Double Eagle Golf.
You're counting on your team to win, so why not prove it? At Warhorse Sportsbook, their win is your win. Put your money where your mouth is on nearly every sporting event. Use the Warhorse app to check odds and build your bets before placing your wagers in person at Warhorse Casino in Lincoln or Horseman's Park in Omaha, including live in-game betting. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Is your backyard ready for fun with friends and family this fall? GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, which are a great accent for any landscaping project. And you can find them at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere, nearby or far away. Stop by at 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Go to gelandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket as soon as the clock hits 0 for the Jay Foreman postgame show. Listen to expert analysis from the Husker Hall of Famer, an 8-year NFL veteran for 90 minutes after the game. The Jay Foreman postgame show, sponsored by Tanner's Bar and Grill, Vinny Kreekak, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome to Sue's Frame Shop.
Yes. Can you frame these, please?
These are Nebraska Lottery Holiday Classic Scratch tickets.
I know. Isn't the classic Christmas artwork on them just charming? Now, be sure not to smudge it when you frame them.
But if you scratch them and enter non-winning tickets online, you could win up to $20,000.
Give me those. Here's a quarter. Let's start scratching.
Promotion ends January 3rd, 2024. Top prize odds vary by game.
You play Lucky for life, don't you?
Yeah, love it. Chance to win $1,000 a day for the rest of my life.
How does it work?
Choose 6 numbers and buy a ticket.
Then what?
Check your numbers after the nightly drawing to see if you've won.
Whoa, slow down. You lost me there.
Choose 6 numbers.
6 numbers. Got it.
Check the drawing.
Whoa, how do you remember all that?
Just lucky, I guess.
Lucky for life, top prize odds, 1 in 30 million.
Sunday morning. It's quiet, not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. The perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth. 93.7 The Ticket. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for 3! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
That it is, coming to you from 11th and O in the heart of Lincoln, Nebraska. I'm Austin Norman. He is Eric Strickland. Stricky, this is nice. Let's get to walk down to PBA.
Man,
it's going to be 60s, upper 50s, I think, later tonight. It's going to be great.
Yeah, man. This is the beautiful thing about being here. Short walk down to Memorial Stadium, and if you want to, you can take a little stroll on down to PBA, but I don't think I will. I think I'll be parking.
Whipping it through downtown?
It's a blessing that I get to park in, the right spots.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, yeah.
Perks of being Eric Strickland, all your connections.
Listen, part of the reason that place was built from some things that we happened to do, as far as at least raising the bar. I like it. I like it actually down there. I think it's a good spot. There's a lot of entertainment down there, some great restaurants. You want to go down there and have a nice little meal, sit down there, have a cocktail or whatever, socialize, and then boom, walk on over and have a nice game. So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool environment.
Do love me some Haymarket. It's great. Yeah. Being born and raised in Lincoln, the way the downtown is growing, the way the Haymarket's exploded has been absolutely incredible to see. Speaking of C, you can see Stricky on Big Ten Plus tonight.
Yeah,
be on the call.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's partially nerve-wracking because I have to tone myself back because I'm such a basketball foodie, where I just love to eat basketball. And when I'm in the midst of it, sometimes I could get overly excited, but I've got to remind myself to remain biased and unbiased.
Yes.
Unbiased. Yeah, that's it. Unbiased in my communication while I'm on air. So it's pretty cool.
Definitely stay tuned for that. We will have post-game coverage as well here at 93.7 The Ticket right after the game's done. Myself, Bach, and Nick will be a part of that. Stricky will pop in from time to time throughout the season, I assume. But you're busy, man. You got other stuff to do, so we'll hold it down when you're otherwise occupied.
No, I'll definitely will be on. It's just a matter of when. I got to get through this phase. A lot of home games right now, man. So go down there, take a look, see what the team's going to be like. They're going to be here for quite a while throughout the month of November.
Husker football at home only 2 more times in November. First one coming up against Maryland. And Strick, that's where I want to lead off hour 2 here. Nebraska's response to Michigan State. Let's just think through this Husker season. Week 1 against Minnesota, not a good first half offensively. You have the Irvin touchdown, non-touchdown, the interception by Sims to end the half. You come out, you take the lead at 10-0 or 10-3, I think it was at that point, and you're feeling good. You're in control. Minnesota comes back to win the game. You don't respond well to a turnover. Hartzog gets burned. You lose that game. Next week, you have Colorado. You start out, you're in the game. It's competitive. It's back and forth. You're not playing your best. You're kind of holding on for dear life. Then that one too many turnovers happens, and the straw breaks the camel's back. You don't respond well in that game, but you come back the next week, and you take care of business really against a Northern Illinois team that you should have beaten. You beat Louisiana Tech. Then Michigan comes to town. That's the first, I think, real true disappointment of this Nebraska season was just the lack of energy and the fire against a top 10 team like that. I was worried, Strick, about the response of that team on a short week going on the road with the bye week looming. All the pieces were there for Nebraska to say, we're good. We lost one. What's 2 in a row? It's tough. The circumstances are against us. We'll go into our bye week and we'll go from there. But no, Nebraska did respond positively. Now with a beautiful performance, but a winning performance. They beat Illinois 20-7. Then you have your bye week. Again, don't play inspiring football against Northwestern, but you find a way to win with a couple big plays. 17-point win over Purdue. You've now won 3 in a row. You handled your last couple games pretty well. And then Michigan State comes. I don't know what exactly to attribute the lack of, a positive result to. There's a lot of little things that I think added up for Nebraska on offense, on defense, special teams, the other color uniform, the stripes on the field as well. But Nebraska has a chance to respond again against Maryland. The season's not over. Might have felt like it. You didn't get bowl eligible on Saturday, but you still have 3 games left. I'm curious to see if this team gets up off the mat again and continues to send Maryland reeling. Maryland's lost 4 in a row right now.
Yeah.
Maryland's in a tough spot.
Yeah.
We know they're talented. We know they're skilled, but they're in a rough spot. They're looking at this game as their way to get right.
Get out of it.
But
everybody's
so is Nebraska.
Gonna be looking at Nebraska in that manner. And so the best thing that you have going for you is that they've got to come into your home.
Right.
Are you going to play inspired football similar to what Michigan State did? Or are you going to lay down and not do the necessities that it's going to take to win games? I can promise you that you don't want to be in the same predicament. 4 turnovers, 3 turnovers. No turnovers. Let's just call it that, right?
But force a couple on defense for once, please.
That's one of the issues that they have. Now, this team in Maryland, they'll give up a sack. They don't. They will allow you to attack. But the thing that's different about this team is they will spread the ball around.
Yep.
There's no one person that you can isolate on. So the secondary is going to have to be on their P's and Q's. If there ever is a dial up, you're going to have to be on point because they've shown that they can, with the best of them, they can compete and play. It's just the longevity of the game is where it ends up getting to them. So I'm not going to say it's bad for Nebraska. I'm just going to say, Austin, it's another opportunity for Nebraska. You got to go bank one. Which one are you going to bank? The more you don't bank early, the later it is that the pressure can then begin to mount. And if you're a team that pressure bursts pipes, then I would worry about you even not getting to a bowl eligible. So how this team looks this week when I put my eyes on them is going to tell me a lot, because the other teams are also going to be fighting for something. And the more pressure that's mounted upon you, then you got to go on the road. That's pressure.
To a place you haven't won in the Big Ten.
Right? And then you got to come home at the end of the. You don't want to come home saying it's all or nothing. We have to freaking win this game in order to be bowl eligible. I don't want to put that pressure on this young of a team that his identity, especially at the offensive end, is very sus. Yeah.
This is a team that Matt Rule said has learned to win, but now needs to learn to win with pressure. I think all of these weeks, you have to keep that 1-0 mentality, right? How do you balance the big picture of, hey, the bowl game's out there for us, we got to go get it, versus how do we get to a bowl game, right? You don't just show up and win number 6 magically appears after you stand around for 60 minutes of game time. You got to go out there, you got to work, you got to earn it. You have to earn bowl eligibility. It's not given to you. I think Nebraska fans took it for granted for the 36 years straight that Nebraska ended up making it to a bowl game or something ridiculous like that. This team can't take that for granted, because yes, Maryland's reeling. They got beat by Ohio State, a game they were in. The Buckeyes pulled away from them in. They lose to Illinois. Not a good loss for them. Credit Illinois for going on the road and doing that. Then they go to Northwestern and lose. Credit Northwestern, but any team that can lose to Illinois and Northwestern, both teams Nebraska has beat, is a team Nebraska has the ability to beat. And then they just get run over, run around, run through by Penn State. 51-15, Nittany Lions. I like Michael Oxford. I still think he's a good coach, but we see this with Maryland. Well, they will start hot, and then they'll fade. After Nebraska, Maryland has Michigan.
Yep.
So
and
Maryland,
then a tough Rutgers team.
And then a tough Rutgers team who's already bowl eligible, who's looking to improve that bowl standing. So I can see this going 2 ways for Nebraska and 2 ways for Maryland. Way one for Nebraska is, hey, we're back at home. We like this opportunity. We like how our defense matches up with this team. They're reeling. Let's finally step on their throat. Way number 2 is, oh man, there's so much pressure on us that we're tight. We don't know how to do this again. We forgot how to win because we got shook by letting an opportunity slide against Michigan State. For Maryland, it's, we have to go on the road. There's no expectation, right? We've lost 4 in a row. Who actually thinks we're going to make anything of this season? We're more talented. We're more skilled. Let's put it to work. Or, man, we have to go halfway across the country to play Nebraska. Like, this is going to be a dirty game. They're going to drag us down in it. It's not our style. We're not feeling the best. Who knows if we'll be able to get back on track. This is a turning point in the season for both of these teams.
I will say it is a turning point for both teams. I'm gonna take a little different approach to it, because if I'm Maryland, I'm looking at the rest of that schedule and I'm saying to myself, this is the one. Nebraska's the one. Like that's the mentality and the motivation and the spark that, yes, guys, we've been struggling. Yes, we've got to take this long road trip, but boy, this is the one. Let's go get it, because we bowl eligible. Let's bank it, and then go to the rest of them. Go on the road against a tough Michigan team. Okay, let's just say we just go fight. They're coming into our home. Let's just go fight it. See what happens. But then we've got to go on the road to Rutgers, and that's not an easy place to play. They're gonna defensively get after us. Yes, they make mistakes. Yes, they're not solid. Yes, they don't know what the heck is going on sometimes on the offensive side of things for them as well. But at the end of the day, this is the one. Let's get this one to become bowl eligible.
11 o'clock kickoff on Peacock. See how many people actually watch it. How many people are willing to pony up to $6?
Dabo Sweeney didn't know where Peacock was or something when he was trying to watch the Clemson game. Big win for him. Shout out.
Let's jump into that. Clemson gets off to such a hot start against Notre Dame. The Fighting Irish made it respectable late, but Clemson made one too many plays early. Of course, the talk early in the week was Dabo's radio show. Tyler from Spartanburg calls in. Some people think it's a play, and so ooh, and Dabo said call in, went off on his team. Clemson, not the year they envisioned at all. They're still missing a big play wide receiver. Cade Klubnik isn't what they've had at quarterback, but with Will Shipley, RB1 out.
And Phil Mafah. Like, if you watch Wakanda or any Black Panther stuff, Mafah. Mafah. Yeah, they say that on there.
Should have done that.
That's the one. Yeah. That man was a freaking truck
Mm-hmm.
And I would have hated to see him. Now, I thought it was going to be the other way around. Now Estima was still good.
He was
but good gosh, Malfa, he did the work. 36 carries, my boy.
36. That's a lot.
Man,
that's 9 carries a quarter.
That's carrying the load, baby.
Carrying the load, carrying the rock, toting it all.
You're a big boy too.
Clemson, it's probably too late in the season for that to be a spark for them. It's on the table that they could go 8-4 just mathematically. I still think this is a team that goes 6-6 or 7-5. I think they got up for their biggest game of the year at this point. But did we write Dabo off too soon? Does he still have it? Did Clemson get lucky? Or is Clemson actually, hey, they lost a couple games they shouldn't have early, they're still good? I don't know what to make of Clemson.
I don't either, but they showed up at the right time, and hopefully it can just turn. For Clemson, if I'm Clemson and I'm the coaching staff and I'm Dabo, I'm looking at it from a standpoint of this is a turnaround in preparation for next year. Similar to a team that has been out of the NCAA tournament in basketball for a while. Let's get into the NIT and let's start positioning ourselves, because I still think they've got a pretty good team. I think they need to continue to build on their defensive side of things. I think their offense is pretty solid, but like you said, they need a big. They don't have a big play guy.
No.
And so
no Sammy Watkins, no DeAndre Hopkins, no Justin Ross.
Yeah, they don't have that.
No Hunter Renfrow even.
That's an issue. But yeah, shout out to Arizona, the hottest freaking team in college football right now, beating the brakes off UCLA. Shout out to Kansas, man. Listen, I don't care what anybody says, man. Kansas is doing this. Let me ask this. A lot of people was talking about Leipold, trying to get him away from Kansas to come up here. That man is doing some work down there at Kansas. It's still, to me, hard place to get that kind of. That means they're down there developing people. They're getting people and developing them the right way, that are playing the right way. Another team that I felt, Austin, fumbled the bag.
Who fumbled the bag, Stricky?
They crashed and burned, Maverick style.
Okay.
The freaking Air Force Falcons.
Oh, boy. Oh, yeah. 3 points.
Army gave them that work. Basically, Army said, yeah, we parachute in, baby, and we parachuting on y'all, and we taking it over. Army's like, yeah, we the ones that go in to battle. You sit there and launch missiles. They beat the brakes off of them. I mean, it didn't even look right the way they did them.
Tulane struggled with East Carolina, so those were 2 of your front runners for that group of 5 automatic New Year's 6 berth that didn't look that good. The game that stood out to me, Strick, was one that we got correct. Those bums on the happy hour got incorrect. Bedlam, Oklahoma State, Pokes over Sooners. Again, not necessarily pretty, but Oklahoma State lost to South Alabama. 33-7 early in the year. This after a tumultuous offseason, didn't know if Gundy was going to be back. They lost a lot in the transfer portal. They're right in the thick of the Big 12 race right now. They beat Oklahoma in Bedlam, and that series is ending. I hate to see that series end, but I've been on the Oklahoma end of this with Carolina beating Duke in the Final Four in Coach K's last year. I can only imagine just how sweet it is for little brother Oklahoma State to hold this over Oklahoma for eternity.
Yeah, to basically end the rivalry. I think they're going to end up restoring it somehow, some way. It'll be tough because the SEC has so many teams that it'll be tough to do it. But I that's the way you want to go out. When it's all said and done, you want to go out that way. Like I can forever, whenever you see me, you know that we gave y'all that work on the way out the door. Yeah, you win the series and all of that. Going all the way back to Big Six and all that stuff. Yeah, you win. But at the end of the day, Bedlam, we got y'all.
Scoreboard's right there.
On your way out the door to the SEC. So take that. Tough game. I freaking loved watching. And I understood why the decision was made.
Kansas State?
The Kansas State-Texas game. I watched it. I got it. I understood why they made the decision to do that. Because you were going to have to go first. Why not now? It was going to be 2 points anyway. But here's the thing. What's his name? Howard.
Or Will Howard. Will Howard, yep.
Howard had Keegan Johnson, my partner Clester's son, at the goal line wide open, and he freaking threw a Japanese bullet train pass. Threw him. All he had to do was, if he just hits him in his gut or throws it normal, he can catch it and lay down in the end zone, and then you don't have all that pressure.
No.
Because that's the game.
That's the game right there.
And so I was like, "Ooh, he just freaking." I mean, but that's that nerve. That's that nerve. Oh, I gotta get it there. There was another. Was it Alabama? Who was it? Was it Alabama?
Big win for the Tide, 42-28.
There was somebody that had the same type of situation, and he literally threw the ball over the guy's head, and he was standing right there wide open at the end zone. I can't remember which game it was, but it's that nervousness, it's that tightness that you just get. Oh, he's open, and you try to, instead of just settling in. And you know who I see do that now really well?
Who?
Jalen Hurts.
Your boy.
My man. He's got it.
That presence of mind.
He's got it. Like, he knows when to touch it, when to zip it, when not to, how to slide. He knows how not to take. Jalen Hurts has got it. And I like what the young fella's doing. Big win against the Cowboys as well.
Who has more of it, Caleb Williams or Michael Penix?
You know what? Michael Penix looked as if see, to me, Caleb looks and plays like a combination of Dak Prescott and Mahomes. He's got it. He's got that presence, that step up, that evasiveness. He's got all of that, and being able to find guys and hit guys. He just has no help. He's shown that he can score, and most times that he wants to. I'm sure it's got to be very frustrating. I've been there. Like, a lot of people are teasing him right now about, crying,
breaking down,
down. And some say, that, leadership, you do that, maybe in the locker room, so forth. I'm not going to lie. In high school, that happened to me, where we went the year before we went to the championship game at Bellevue West. We lost to Millard South. And the next year we have dang near the whole team coming back. I think we only lost one person. And then everybody starts smelling themselves and thinking, we're this and we're that, and we don't play the same way. In some instances, freezing me out. And so I was like, we played Northwest, and I broke down. I went up in the stands and I cried because I couldn't believe what I was seeing about my team. So I have empathy for Caleb in that instance, because I can understand how frustrating it is. I don't think we see him. I think he's out of here. I think he's, at this point, he's ghost. He's gone.
I think that decision makes sense for him.
Yeah.
Speaking of also gone, Alex Grinch, the defensive coordinator who came with Lincoln Riley from
Yeah,
Oklahoma.
he's out of here.
He gone, and I'm fascinated. We might need to talk more about that and more about Colorado and just some of the coaching stuff going on in what remains of the Pac-12 for the last year, because this is a Big Ten move for USC, getting rid of Grinch now. Their defensive coordinator hire will have an impact on how year one in the Big Ten goes for them. We'll have to do that later, though, because we're going to step aside, talk some Husker football recruiting, some interesting headlines to get to with our guy. Here's up on it in the recruiting world, Brian Munson of Husker Online. We'll step aside, get Brian on the horn, talk some Huskers recruiting after this.
Ready to make this season unforgettable? Celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union's low-rate debt consolidation loan. Combine all those bills into one affordable monthly payment with quick access to funds. Imagine all the extra cash for holiday shopping sprees, festive parties, or that well-deserved vacation. Stop by any of their branches or visit libertyfirstcu.com to find out more about their low-rate debt consolidation loan. Make this holiday season one to remember and celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union, banking with purpose.
Hi, my name is Molly Party. I'm a realtor with MP Dodge Real Estate. I'm a newly licensed agent and considered numerous brokerages before deciding on MP Dodge. I chose the company that gives me the most support in my new career, plus guidance and encouragement along the way. MP Dodge has a unique mentoring program for new agents. It's helped jumpstart my career and has a supportive management team and administrative staff. So if you're contemplating a career in real estate, look no further than MP Dodge. It will be the best decision you make.
You're counting on your team to win, so why not prove it? At Warhorse Sportsbook, their win is your win. Put your money where your mouth is on nearly every sporting event. Use the Warhorse app to check odds and build your bets before placing your wagers in person at Warhorse Casino in Lincoln or Horseman's Park in Omaha, including live in-game betting. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Brown Shoe Fit has all types of shoes for you to excel this fall. Check out their large variety of tennis shoes and dress shoes in brands like Brooks, Hoka, Merrell, On, and many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Atrex. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln, or check out their options online at brownshoefitco.com.
Hey guys, Jake Sorensen here from Early Break. The garage door at our house has been needing replacement for a couple years, and a few months ago, we finally did something about it. Steve's Garage Doors and Services was great through the whole process in providing options and also going to the next level to get a door that was approved by our HOA. And best of all, the removal of the old door and installation of the new door was done smoothly with no issues. Call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today at 402-480-2840.
Whether you're booking a trip to Lincoln for a football game or a volleyball weekend, the Scarlet Hotel at Innovation Campus is the place for you. The Scarlet Hotel is special on many levels, from the delicious Well and Good restaurant on the main floor to the coolest rooftop patio bar in Lincoln, the Barred Owl, on the top floor of the hotel with great views of the city and one of the coolest drink menus. Book your stay or book a staycation today at scarlethotelnebraska.com.
Welcome to Sue's Frame Shop.
Yes, can you frame these, please?
These are Nebraska Lottery Holiday Classic Scratch tickets.
I know. Isn't the classic Christmas artwork on them just charming? Now, be sure not to smudge it when you frame them.
But if you scratch them and enter non-winning tickets online, you could win up to $20,000.
Give me those. Here's a quarter. Let's start scratching.
Promotion ends January 3rd, 2024. Top prize odds vary by game.
You play Lucky for life, don't you?
Yeah, love it. Chance to win $1,000 a day for the rest of my life.
How does it work?
Choose 6 numbers and buy a ticket.
Then what?
Check your numbers after the nightly drawing to see if you've won.
Whoa, slow down. You lost me there.
Choose 6 numbers.
6 numbers. Got it.
Check the drawing.
Whoa, how do you remember all that?
Just lucky, I guess.
Lucky for life, top prize odds, 1 in 30 million.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and man, of the October incentives get better. You won't want to miss this. Happening right now at Koppel, you have 0% financing or $6,500 off MSRP on select new half-ton crew cab pickups. Yes, you heard right. Happening right now until the end of the month. 0% financing or $6,500 off sticker price. Those incentives are the best we've seen this entire year. Hurry on in while supplies last. Just take that short money-saving drive down 144th Street or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. All offers include trade-in bonus and with roof credit.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, partly sunny skies will start the day off. Then we'll see mostly cloudy skies this afternoon. We'll see a high of around 70. Tonight, partly cloudy skies are expected with a low of around 45. And mostly sunny skies will return to the forecast for tomorrow with a high of around 72. Meteorologist Kyle Clucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here on the block. Austin Norman and Eric Strickland with you. 3:30 on Mondays, always reserved for Brian Munson of Husker Online, who joins us on our Allo VIP line, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. Brian, Stricky and I were getting excited. We just heard our weatherman say we've got 70 degrees in November up here. We're pretty hyped about that. What's fall weather like for you down there?
It's gorgeous. Was a little chilly earlier in the week, last week, but warmed up over the weekend. I think we're supposed to get some rain on Thursday. I think it's in the 80s today, which is pretty unseasonably warm, honestly. I was outside taking a walk in the joggers and regretted that about a half mile through it.
Well, speaking of heating up, Carlin Jones's recruitment, you wrote about this in your 3 and Out. Let's start, first of all, with just a reminder of who Carlin Jones is in the Nebraska football recruiting class for people who might not remember.
Well, 3-star defensive tackle, Bay City, Texas. I called him, I think, what I call him, the Swiss Army knife of defensive line recruits. He's got this ability, basically short of just playing the nose, he could play 3 technique, he could play 5 technique, which is those are kind of the even man front. So you're talking 4-3-ish, I think he could play out to a 7 if he wanted to play more of a defensive end. I think he could play a 4 in an odd front, playing defensive end, and that's why Ohio State likes him. Ohio State basically said, like, look, we've got defensive line or defensive end spots open. Now the good news here for Nebraska fans, and I'm not sure this has really been reported anywhere, and I've been away from the board a little bit here, and I need to get back on there, but I don't think he can make the trip to Ohio State this weekend as what he had originally had expected to. So he's, they're in the playoffs. Bay City is in the playoffs. So I think it'd be very difficult. It's always difficult to get out of Texas to get to Lincoln, for a game. Imagine getting out, south of Houston, and you got to drive to, Bush Airport or Hobby Airport in Houston to get to Columbus. That would not be an easy scenario. I think it'd be very difficult to do even for like a 2:30 start. But he can't get out the night before, maybe like what they were thinking was going to happen. Maybe it doesn't seem like maybe necessarily we're counting on getting into the playoffs, but they are in the playoffs now. And I don't think that that's going to be a situation that's going to allow him to get to Ohio State this weekend. So, and I think the thing to remember here, guys, is that, I think that there's multiple spots that Ohio State has open in the class. I think there's 2. And it seems like Ohio State's kind of dialed into 3 defensive linemen. Just Jones is one of those 3. So maybe as numbers or as fate would have it, maybe this thing plays out for itself. But we'll have to see how it goes. But I don't think he can take that trip to Ohio State this weekend like he originally intended to.
Is Ohio State one of those schools that recruits, might make an exception for not having to make a trip just because they know just how good Ohio State is? Or even at some of those upper tier playoff level programs, do the vast majority of recruits feel like they need to get eyes on a campus and a team in a locker room before they're willing to, sign their NLI there?
No, I get that. I think the part to remember here about Carlin Jones is that he's happy with Nebraska. I think he was very excited about getting up to Nebraska and being part of, all the articles that have been written, and talked about with Princeville and Cameron and all the other young defensive linemen, the movement, essentially of Tony White's defense, that having that ability to kind of get on campus and look past, that age aspect and really look at ability, and look at kind of that organic growth and what they're trying to do with development inside the program. I think that really had Carlin Jones, hook, line, and sinker. I think for that, maybe one of the biggest reasons right there, it wouldn't ever come down to a situation that hands down Ohio State is just flat out a better scenario than Nebraska for him. I think he basically has told the Nebraska staff, I've got to take this trip. I'm remaining committed to Nebraska, but I have to go see what the Buckeyes are all about. I think that is a very different statement and a way of handling the process versus like what Kewan Lacey did from Lancaster. And Lacey just decided, I'm decommitting and I'm going to go about doing my business this way. I think that that's just kind of a way to make sure Nebraska knows to kind of go ahead and move on. And Carlin Jones in that way is also, I think, being very true to Nebraska, saying, I really do like it there. I have to go check this out. I have to do it to make sure I'm making the right decision. And Matt Rule has a very good policy on that. Just not trying to, twist guys' arms to get them to come to campus there in Nebraska and come to be Cornhuskers. You shouldn't have to do that for any of your players. They should want to come there of their own desires. But that's I think, though, that there's still a need for Carlin Jones to go through basically the evaluation process of Ohio State, even though I think what you said makes a lot of sense, just where that program is at, the success that they have had. I think that's very tough to compete with at face value. But I think Carlin Jones sees himself at Lincoln, at least saw himself even there before the Ohio State offer, and that's what makes it very difficult now to kind of break into this new, I got to go take a look at it thing. Because I think he was all in, and ready to be a Cornhusker.
What we're seeing with this staff, especially, Brian, is that they're early on guys. They're not afraid to be early on guys like a Carlin Jones, Kawan Lacey, plenty of others in even their first recruiting class, make offers that other coaches might not be comfortable in. And maybe in, previous day and age where, and you're 3 and out on Husker Online, that when classes were limited to 25, maybe that's not as big a deal, but college recruiting has changed. So what's your prescription for Nebraska to continue being first and early to be able to hold on to these guys when other schools might catch on?
Well, so the good news is that I think Nebraska is onto something when it comes to their evaluations. They seem to have found guys that later on other schools, weren't as quick or to covet or to, regard as highly as what Nebraska did. That's good and bad. Obviously, Nebraska is putting them on the map, so to speak. Nebraska is out there, building a relationship, kind of cementing their name into the recruiting class. Then a school, like Alabama comes in and offers your running back commitment, or Ohio State comes in and offers your defensive line commitment. That the way to get around that obviously is through having success. You give the players a lot less to think about when you're going about doing business and you're having, similar type of success, or you're having that trajectory of having that type of success. I think where Nebraska is just kind of at right now, it's just they're not there obviously on that national level to go out there and say that, in the same breath as Ohio State and Alabama, which are both those programs have been completely synonymous with the college football playoff. And I think that's where it really kind of starts. You can look back through the years and just, you'll see those guys over and over again when it comes to the playoffs. So Nebraska needs to be successful. And I think that, if they continue to identify that type of player that seems to, take off and maybe is a better player than what the ratings and the rankings kind of identify earlier on in the process, I think the advantage that Nebraska has by doing that, obviously, is that they show a huge vote of confidence. They have a chance to build a relationship with that guy, much longer. And I think the way that Nebraska goes about doing their business, where it's just not just recruiting the player, they recruit the family, they recruit the high school head coach, they recruit the brothers and the sisters. And they go about doing this in just kind of a more all-inclusive way. You're all coming along. You're all going to experience this tremendous ride. It's going to go through, obviously, through the recruit, but they're bringing them all into the family. I think that part still has this incredible value. I think it's one of the reasons why, obviously, Carlin Jones can still see himself as a Cornhusker despite the Ohio State offer. But I think it's just one of those things to kind of then be the next step to kind of holding on to these recruits and not giving them more to think about. You have to be competitive against Ohio State. You have to go into those situations and be better about, showing competitiveness and being able to make it to Big Ten conference championship games. And obviously I don't think anybody really considered the idea that Nebraska would be one way against bowl eligibility in year one under Matt Rule. I think he's a year or two ahead, but I think that still puts them, a little bit behind the gun here and trying to hold on to some guys that have tremendous senior seasons that aren't, backyard guys. This guy's not growing up down, Interstate 80. He's not living in Omaha. He's not out in western or central Nebraska. He's south of, he's south of Houston. And I think that's difficult just because you don't have kind of that tie to the player necessarily geographically. And I think Ohio State, obviously, they dip in anywhere they want to go into because they have just had that ability to do that nationwide for a longer time under Urban Meyer going into Ryan Day. So they have that ability to do that kind of thing right now that just Nebraska can't do because they've had success.
We're talking with Brian Munson of Husker Online. Read his work at it's on3.com, Husker Online, the Nebraska vertical for that. Brian, at the end of your write-up about Carlin Jones, one of the sentences that stood out to me is you said, this is what Rule is having to repair in the big picture. Win prettier, compete for conference championships, and get to bowl games. It's win prettier that immediately jumped off the stage to me. I think there's one school of thought that would say, just win. Doesn't matter how it looks, especially in a Big Ten West, but the division's going away. It might change that. I don't think the other school of thought is necessarily competing against it, where it has to look at aesthetically pleasing in terms of recruiting. But I think it's fair to say that recruits want to win. They probably don't care how it looks, especially if they're all the way bought into the school. But that by winning prettier, you're probably able to attract a different caliber of recruit. Is that fair to say?
That's a total fair statement. I mean, I think that what you get by wins and wins alone and a commitment to guys that are within the state's boundary, which within the state's borders, neighboring states, I think that you can get those folks that are a little bit more familiar Nebraska historically, and maybe what they're going through currently within their situation. I think that you can get those types of players right now based on how well they're doing, what Matt Rule is saying, how they're going about doing their business, the fact that they are ahead. But when you're clawing and scraping out those wins, it isn't aesthetically pleasing. There's not numbers offensively that jump off the charts at you. The defense clearly does. But I think that we would all agree, that things in that area seem to be way ahead of schedule, but they're keeping Nebraska very, very competitive. But you want to have that balance. You want to have something that you can kind of go back and point to out on film and say, look at these things that we're doing on the football field. And I think that they can do that in certain parts of their game. And I think that there's flashes on both sides of the football, but you're not getting that kind of, you don't have the success to put you into a top 25. So you have to then prove that you're going out there and you're winning these football games. And that's what's really in winning those games, with a little bit of ease and a little bit more style, as opposed to, trying not to lose the game late in the fourth quarter. And that's what I think Nebraska fans they're still kind of coming out of that shell a little bit. They're still kind of coming out of, Nebraska's going to find a way or has to avoid losing this game despite being up 10, 9, 10, 12 points going into the fourth quarter and just never feeling like it's in the bag. And I do agree with what Matt Rule said. I think that, it's moved from Nebraska can't win close games late to they're winning now games not pretty, a little bit ugly, and the criticism that goes along with it. I think as a fan that there's one lens, and I think as a recruit there's another. That recruit that's another, particularly if they've got offers from Ohio State and Texas A&M and Alabama. It's a little bit harder, I think, to kind of put all those things together and say that a win is a win and it's completely and always equal when it's really not.
I think it's interesting as we look at both high school recruiting and even the transfer portal, Brian, to say this is what Nebraska needs in this class. This is where Nebraska needs to improve on next year's team. It's one thing to have a need or have a deficiency. It's another to fill it. So, you said, winning is important. There has to be mutual interest. It can't just be Nebraska has a need. Nebraska, Matt Rule, his staff snap their fingers, the difference makers on campus. You have to make it a desirable situation for them to walk into.
No, absolutely. I think that's been – I think that you kind of saw that when Nebraska and Matt Rule were bringing in some of those really big-time recruits at the first junior day and then into the spring game. And I think that you could sell that opportunity. I think that you could sell, the fact that most of those guys, if not all those guys, would have had a complete and open path to we're going to get you on the football field, if not start very early on in your career. That, to a lot of people, is maybe all that you ever had to say to kind of get them to be interested. However, going back to, the lack of success, maybe just where Nebraska is kind of at in the landscape of college football at the moment. They're not, in the classification of Oregon. They're not Texas. They're not Ole Miss. They're not Alabama. They're still waiting to kind of crack into that top 25, waiting for that opportunity to show a little bit more consistency and basically to kind of prove that what you're dealing with right now in Nebraska is it's not just this kind of moment in time where they've had a couple of opportunistic games to kind of go out there and get some wins, but they can string them together, beyond just the month of October. So I think there's a lot of truth to that. I think that the opportunity Nebraska can absolutely sell that. They should be telling that to all their recruits. The problem is there's got to be a reciprocating, kind of opinion about wanting to go be a starter at the University of Nebraska versus wanting to go be part of a better program at that point in time. They have to kind of understand that that they're trending that way, and Nebraska has to, I think, to give a little bit better view of trending that way before they can get some of those players to come find their way to Lincoln.
Last thing for you, Brian, also in your weekly 3 and out, running back. You mentioned Quan Lacey at the very start of the segment. Don't give your whole list away, but if you had 1 or 2 favorites that you think Nebraska should be targeting at that running back position in this 2024 class, where have your eyes and mind taken you?
Oh boy, you're gonna do it to me, aren't you?
If you don't want to, you can decline. I'm just asking. I have to ask.
I mean, and I think my board is, somewhat changed. There's a guy that's not even on my list anymore that I think I would put on the list and say I'm pretty impressed by him, and I think Nebraska is starting to finally reach out to him a little bit. But his name is JT Bronow. He is a running back out of Florida. I think it's Winter Garden, Florida, in fact. Huge statistics. I think he's averaging like 15 or 17 yards a carry. He's 10'6", 500-meter guy, so kind of fits the box. When you start talking to what Matt Rule's looking for out of that position, he has an ability to kind of do things, in all the different spaces, of course, like Lacey was able to do. Like Lacey was supposed to do kickoff, punt return. He's supposed to do slot receiver, outside receiver, and running back. I think JT could do the same exact thing for Nebraska. I think the month of November is going to be very, very interesting to see some things and how things are going to kind of move, going forward. The interesting but sad part about it is one of the guys who I really like on that list, Teron Petaway, out of Manor, Texas, who played with Prince Will before. Don't think that that's going to be a real viable target for Nebraska anymore. It does appear like maybe there's some academic questions around him a little bit. So maybe one guy that Nebraska fans need to forget about for now, but a very productive tailback. But I like JT, and we'll see where things go going forward.
There he is, Brian Munson of Husker Online with us, as always, on our Allo VIP line. Brian, keep those shorts out a little longer. Joggers are nice, but keep the shorts out. You can do it.
I was just moving on into the fall wardrobe, man. I'll gladly slip back into the shorts, but yes, I need to do that for a little while longer as I'm heading back outside to get some of this nice weather.
Take advantage of it, Brian. As always, we appreciate your time.
Be good, guys. We'll see you.
There he is, Brian Munson, with us on our Allo VIP line, brought to you, of course, by Allo Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. He's Eric Strickland. I'm Austin Norman. We got Jay Foreman waiting in the wings right outside. We'll bring him in. We'll cross it over with the old school crew to wrap up on the block next. Whether you're booking a trip to Lincoln for a football game or a volleyball weekend, the Scarlet Hotel at Innovation Campus is the place for you. The Scarlet Hotel is special on many levels, from the delicious Well and Good restaurant on the main floor to the coolest rooftop patio bar in Lincoln, the Barred Owl, on the top floor of the hotel with great views of the city and one of the coolest drink menus. Book your stay or book a staycation today at scarlethotelnebraska.com.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Hey, it's Jake Sorensen. Tune in this Thursday as Early Break with myself, Steve Sipple, and Bill Bush broadcast from the Nebraska Army National Guard UNL East Campus Readiness Center to honor Veterans Day. You won't want to miss this one. That's this Thursday for Early Break from 6 to 8 a.m. at the UNL East Campus Readiness Center, just north of 33rd and Holdridge.
This is James Harrell with NP Dodge Real Estate. When I became a licensed realtor, I wanted a brokerage that would help me grow in my new career. I found that in Lincoln First Realty. When Lincoln First was acquired by NP Dodge, the training and support I received only got better. I love knowing I have the power of the NP Dodge brand behind me. I would recommend NP Dodge to new agents looking to jumpstart their real estate career and to current agents who want to take their business to the next level.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Today's agenda includes office meetings this morning, followed by a client lunch, then back to the office for another meeting, and ending the day with a presentation at a client's office. When you are on the go, you need an office phone that goes with you. At Hamilton, our business phone systems make it easy to sync your office phone features to your cell phone for quick and seamless call handling, no matter where you work. If your current office phone can't do this, you need better. Hire your local experts. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
The Southern Pecan Cake from Beatrice Bakery. They don't just let you call anything Southern, especially when it's baked right here in Nebraska. There are standards you have to meet, like a rich, decadent, moist caramel cake? Check. Bursting with too many large pecans to count? Check. Big enough to share with the whole group? Check. But delicious enough that you won't want to share? A big check on that one. The Southern Pecan Cake, the newest cake to the Beatrice Bakery lineup. Try it for yourself at Beatrice Bakery. Online at BeatriceBakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Tired of the ugly sides, extra expense, and costly damage from hard water? It's time to call the plumbers at Bryant for a water softener solution. Hi, folks. Greg Sharp here, the voice of the Huskers. At Bryant, you get high-quality water softener products installed by plumbers you can trust, and no arm-twisting contracts that tie you down. Just one call, 467-1111, or visit BryantLincoln.com to schedule a free softener installation estimate. Come on, soften up with Bryant. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Is your backyard ready for fun with friends and family this fall? GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, which are a great accent for any landscaping project. And you can find them at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere, nearby or far away. Stop by at 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Go to GELandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
This is Rick Heyman, president of Sartor Heyman Jewelers. My father, Don, always insisted that Sartor Heyman never compromise. Not on quality, not on value, and not on customer service. For that reason, you can be sure that every item of jewelry you purchase from Sartor Heyman is the very best, no matter how small or how large. When it comes to jewelry, if we don't have it, you don't want it. Sartor Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island, and SartorHeyman.com.
Brown Shoe Fit has all types of shoes for you to excel this fall. Check out their large variety of tennis shoes and dress shoes in brands like Brooks, Hoka, Merrell, On, and many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Aetrex. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln, or check out their options online at brownshoefitco.com.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Strick and Austin back with you one final time. Joined by Jay Foreman. Jay, what's good?
What's going on, man?
Now,
How y'all
Paradise.
doing? Man, tough weekend. A little frustrating, but got through it.
You all right? What happened?
You know, just watching the opportunity, like row your boat.
That's Minnesota Strick.
Gently down the stream. I mean, that's it was a merrily opportunity, but life is a part of dream. We gotta keep on dreaming. They ain't bank. It's one of those things, Jay. Okay, you've been to Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
You sat down at the 21 table.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You come in, sometimes you ain't like probably Twan, my boy
Yeah.
Twan. You know, Twan go in, sit down, he go and eat.
Yeah.
We just normal guys. We'll
Right.
sit down, we got 500,000, whatever. That's what we own. When you're making your bets, you put down this, you get you win some hands, you're a little bit up, you put it in the bank.
Right. Yeah.
You basically say, I ain't touching this. We get down to this,
I'm out. Yeah.
Right? That's the opportunity that Nebraska had to put it in the bank.
Yeah.
The more you get down the road, the more some people get tight.
Right.
So I'm just saying, opportunity to put something in the bank. You had an opportunity to go up had an opportunity to go up a game on a team that has tiebreaker advantage on you.
Yeah.
Because they dropped the ball. Then Wisconsin falls. Now you in the driver's seat, and you got to wait on somebody else to hopefully do something for you when you could have did it all for yourself. That's all. I mean, so that's where the frustration, I think, came in for me.
Yeah. I mean, rather than thinking about Indianapolis, the focus should have been on East Lansing and that. That's the most important thing. The talk of yes, you're in a good position in the Big Ten West, product of the environment, which, nobody really ran away with it. But the most important thing was the main thing is the main thing. And that's that game that you were, playing on Saturday. Sometimes when you start to think about things in the future, you miss what's in the present. And so
to me, the present was putting it in the bank, going to a bowl game. You go win
that's
this
what
game.
I'm saying. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
But the Big Ten West talk and we could run the tape like that was just too much, because as much as everybody's saying that, the Big Ten West is down, and which is kind of everybody's like in a, rock fight or whatever, the competition is still thick. You get what I'm saying? And so, it's no different than when that year that Seattle won their division up there, and they were 7-9. Then they beat the Saints. Yeah, probably by the product of winning their division, they got a home game. I don't agree with it, but ultimately the competition was so thick that they won the division 7-9. So it was an opportunity lost. I think it was a tremendous learning experience for some of those guys, and you learn a lot about your team individually and collectively when you're in situations like that, because it's a difference. What it is, Strick? It's the difference of, my analogy is when I went from a backup or part-time player, even in college or the league, primarily the NFL, to how teams played against the same teams, mostly the same players, because there wasn't a lot of turnover in our division, and preparing as a backup or part-time player and a starter. It's totally different. Your mindset has to be different. The preparation that you go the preparation that you go into the game is different, because you're starting the game off. They are more prepared for you. They have more tape on you. They're taking you more serious. That's why you see some teams late in the year be having a great year, and then they lose to a Houston Texans or something like that, and you're like, man, what happened? Well, they weren't ready for you, right? So it's the difference, and I think some of these guys learned the difference, and some embraced it, some didn't, and sometimes you can think you've accomplished something before you do it. And so I think it was a really interesting learning experience. And sometimes, the good thing about it is they have 3 winnable games the rest of the season. The most winnable game is the one right in front of them. It's going to be hard work, and you got to play good, and it's going to be a hard game. But that's the way it was going to be anyways. So ultimately, the situation hasn't changed. The only thing that's different is you didn't live up to your own expectations.
Right.
And that's a 24-hour thing. And hopefully it was just a thing once you got back home and turn the page to Maryland and go from there. And so things haven't changed. It just sucks that you had been maybe skating by or whatever. You just didn't live up to your expectations. And it wasn't necessarily X's and O's. It's not. Like the easy thing is like, oh, it's on the coach. No, it's not. Listen, the energy and the intention of that game, they were just flat, period.
That's what it looked like.
And they were flatter than they had been. And that's actually, it's twofold. It's disappointing because of the situations that we talked about, the circumstances or the layout of the game, what's on the line. But then also, they are being judged on what they've done before. So that's actually good that you've seen good energy from them on a more consistent basis. So you just kind of expected it. So then you're disappointed when it's not. So it's a learning thing. And it's learning how to go on the road to Michigan State, and maybe not a lot of Nebraska fans there, maybe not a lot of Michigan State fans there. The acoustics of the station of the game isn't there, and it's not a spotlight game. But you got to make it your spotlight. You got to make it your Super Bowl. You got to make it your bowl game, and you got to have a different type of mentality when you approach those games. You have to be a Neanderthal, and you have got to be thinking some sick things because you have to do that, because you have to do the honorable thing, and I got to kill you early. Yeah. And how do you do that? Playing steady. I'm not going to make any mistakes. Well, I'm going to make you beat us. And then once I get you, once I see that glimpse of weakness, I'm putting that dagger right through your heart while I'm looking at you. That's the difference of learning. But you have to understand both the ramifications if you don't do it, the expectations, and then the whole kind of like movie scene of the game. It's hard to do because listen, versus sitting up here like what we should have done or whatever. You got to look at it. This is a whole different. This is not making an excuse. This is reality. You have somebody here running a program that has won, and he knows every little detail is important. I'm pretty sure like that you got your shoes tied up is important. It's different for a lot of these guys. It is. And it hasn't been a full year. So it's like, okay, the young guys will get it, but do you get it? You're a fifth-year senior, right? You've been doing things one way. It's like, okay, let's say, I wouldn't say Donnie Nelson, who was a very roll the ball out type of coach.
People gave Spoelstra that moniker with the Heatles, but Spo's always been good X's and O's.
No, I mean somebody that was real lax, right? Versus then you play for a Pat Riley,
Doc Rivers,
or like a Doc Rivers. So you go and you played. Just say like this. You played 5 years for Doc Rivers. All right, you're strict. It's okay that you're 10 minutes late. You my dude. As long as you just show up on what Tuesday, play your game. If you get shots in, that's on you. Well, here comes Pat Riley. You better be 5 minutes early. You better be running in shape. You better be putting shots up before and after practice. You better be in the hotel at a certain time or whatever. And he's watching everything. Sometimes it's a drastic change or whatever. And I think most of the guys are okay with it. But also with that drastic change, sometimes dealing with the expectations is different as well. And that's when you roll into a game like this. Right. And then when you got to look, you're going to get Michigan State. Like, heard some guys talking about, oh, it's Michigan State. They don't have much to play for. It's their No. They got everything to play for. Yeah. I want their best. They're going to give you their best shot. They ain't tapped out yet, but I'm going to make you tap out.
Senior day, guys are looking to try to put something on tape. And the defense was better than what people thought. That's the thing I think you missed.
See, sometimes people can fall in love with the numbers of a team like that. Mostly the numbers came from so many plays. You know what I'm saying? Because their offense wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
And they have injuries in the situation that it went. And they had a hard road to toe. You got to think.
They had an OC that was willing to do some things that were not normal in order to give them a chance. Because they basically looked just like us. They were kind of like a mirror of us.
But what
outside
they did
of the
was
record.
you knew you were going to get a ton of double moves. They're not throwing for first downs. They're throwing for touchdowns. It's no different and I've been like this in basketball. We're playing against one of those like circuit teams. So like when you roll out there like all Iowa attack, they're I think always in the top 2 or 3. They're real good at the grade level that I coach. And so I knew like my kids were good. And I was like, listen, I want that thing out of the hoop or off the backboard, up the side, and I want this thing going downtown. And then once it gets downtown, I want everybody at that 3-point line catching
ready
and
to shoot.
Right. And we're doing it all game. We might be down by 20. Then we might be up by 20. We might be down by 6 or up by 6. We're going to unload it. That's the mentality they had. And like I said, you got to know the dynamics of the game.
Yeah.
And so it's a learning experience, and they're lucky enough that they have 3 winnable. It's not like they got Michigan,
Right,
Ohio State, Penn
right,
State the next 3
right.
games.
Facts.
Not taking anything away from the 3 teams that we're about to play, but you're looking at them, and there's a pathway to beat them. And as long as we handle our business, we'll be fine.
Always nice when you come in and you validate 45 minutes of our show. It's always nice.
Without any
nothing
talking.
Yeah.
One note from Twitter here for tonight, Nebraska basketball, they tipped the season off. Keisei Tominaga out, so coming back from the ankle injury. Juwan Gary, a day-to-day suspension, so he's not playing tonight. Aaron Eulis, we all know what's going on there.
Wait, hold on. Is he still on the team?
He's still on the team.
I couldn't believe it.
That's what I'm talking about. Well, you know what? The dude from Iowa, the football player, is on the team.
Yeah.
He got reinstated.
Yeah. Wait, which one?
Shannon
at Iowa. So it might happen.
Yeah. I ain't mad at him.
We'll see. But yeah, so
make it rain.
So Rink Mass, Josiah Alec, and your boy Jop, all available for the Huskers tonight.
There we go. We'll see some big play action.
They're tipping off at 7 o'clock tonight.
7 o'clock. Strick, you on the call?
Yeah, I'll be down there.
What you doing? Did you let everybody know?
I did.
We have been.
Oh, okay. Then, all right, my bad.
We do have one bone to pick with you, though.
Oh, here we go.
We're all upset about the Huskers. We're all upset about the Bills.
What
the heck, Jay?
I wish I had control.
We wish you did too.
Yeah,
We're all upset.
They got to get it together up there. Won't be no buffalo wings in that locker room.
They sure won't.
Yeah, it ain't no Victory Monday up there and it's getting cold.
What's coming up on Old School?
We're gonna do dive into Huskers. We're gonna do NFL recap. The Cowboys and Eagles, and got a game tonight. And then we'll talk a little bit about the basketball team. So a little bit of flip of what you guys doing.
Perfect. Stay tuned. That'll be Old School. JDP will be in for Old School from 4 to 6. Stricky will be on the call. Huskers and Lindenwood. I'll be on post game after the game. 7 o'clock tip-off. We should be with you at 9:15, 9:30, I imagine. We'll be here. Don't go anywhere. We got Old School, a great ticket weeknights lineup coming up after that. For Strick, I'm Boston. J and DP on Old School. Come next.
Brown Shoe Fit has all types of shoes for you to excel this fall. Check out their large variety of tennis shoes and dress shoes in brands like Brooks, Hoka, Merrell, On, and many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Aetrex. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln, or check out their options online at brownshoefitco.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and man, the October incentives get better. You won't want to miss this. Happening right now at Koppel, you have 0% financing or $6,500 off MSRP on select new half-ton crew cab pickups. Yes, you heard right. Happening right now until the end of the month. 0% financing or $6,500 off sticker price. Those incentives are the best we've seen this entire year. Hurry on in while supplies last. Just take that short money-saving drive down 144th Street or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. All offers include trade-in bonus and with roof credit.
Houses? They're expensive. And once you buy one, you're kind of stuck with it for a while. You need to make sure you get your best house for the best price. You need Ben Bleicher and his team of pros at Professional Realty Group. They'll take the time to figure out what's important for you in your dream home, and they have the expertise to find the hidden issues that could surprise you after the sale. That's professional knowledge, proactive service. We call that potential. Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's home service ambassador. Find more online at prg-ne.com.
Ready to make this season unforgettable? Celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union's low-rate debt consolidation loan. Combine all those bills into one affordable monthly payment with quick access to funds. Imagine all the extra cash for holiday shopping sprees, festive parties, or that well-deserved vacation. Stop by any of their branches or visit libertyfirstcu.com to find out more about their low-rate debt consolidation loan. Make this holiday season one to remember and celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union, banking with purpose.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustace Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians,